bit of news that may come surprising to some. I don't know if you've seen it, but this morning or yesterday, Andy Ruiz said he's been approached about representing Mexico at the Olympics because professionals can now compete at the Olympics. What is your take on that one?
I think there's about as much chance of that happening as me getting slim or you touching 6 foot. So that's like, you know, I mean, it's a great story. Well, I brought my weight in, so I thought it was only fair. I think it's a great story, but I can't see in a million years how, you know, unless the government came up with a load of money, which they won't.
It's a big backward step though as well.
I don't. This whole pro thing. I mean, you saw it recently in the World Championships where Jelovov or whatever his name was, the Uzbek heavyweight, knocked out. Can't even remember now. The US number 1. I mean, a devastating knockout. I mean, the kind of knockout that can change careers. You know, you've got this brilliant young prospect, American heavyweight. Who goes into this tournament, you know, and he gets knocked out by this 8-0 professional, and the knockout was so bad, like that, you know, like I said, it could be career ending. So I don't know. I'm not big on that whole amateur and pro thing. I mean, would Andy Ruiz win the Olympics? He's got a great style for 3-round amateur fights. So maybe when it goes and win the Olympics. I mean, I like the idea if that's how it's going to be. Are you doing all right? But at the same time, I don't think pros should be allowed in the amateur events.
Exactly, because it is a sport where, you know, time is of the essence in terms of just the business side of getting fights.
Not just that; it's a different sport. You know, the aim of the amateurs is much more technical. It's much more, you know, scoring. And you know, I think that once you've experienced the pro game, you're a lot more dangerous as a fighter as you are when you're in the amateur code. And as you found out there with that heavyweight knockout from the Uzbek who won the World Championships.
Just touch on the KSI Logan Paul 2 undercard. Again, there's been rumours of Paulie and Artem Lobov.
Yes.
They had that bare knuckle fight early in the year. Don't know if you caught that, but they're considering.
Yeah, I spoke to Paulie. Paulie messaged me and said, do you want to do the rematch on that card? And do you know, like, you got to keep your head because the whole thing's just gone so crazy that I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, I've got that one. I've got Jake Paul wants to fight, all these other people that I've never heard of as well. I've got thousands of messages on my Instagram constantly.
The hottest card of the year.
Yeah, but they're, you know, saying, why aren't you putting Jake Paul on? And box this guy. And there was a guy who fought last night, was there, called Fuzi or something like this, Fuzi Tube, and he boxed and he lost, and he was one of the guys. I mean, I've lost track. But you know, I have to say, the Paulie Artem Lobov fight, first time around, was a fight that I was very interested in because of the hype and because both guys can fight a little bit. But I wasn't really interested in the bare knuckle side because I'm not crazy on that. So, do we do that on a card? I don't know. You know, it's probably one more for DAZN than, you know, me. I would be happy to. I don't see why that
Would you
fight.
that fight then?
I think so. Yeah.
As a separate event?
I think so. Not as a separate event, but on a card, on an undercard. Yeah, if you're going to put another fight on, 10-rounder between someone you've never heard of and someone else, why wouldn't you put that fight on? You know, one as if it was a bad fight, but I just think that Paulie, you know, I think that his time in boxing is done. But if there's a one-off fight for him, I mean, I always felt that McGregor should fight Paulie. That's what I always felt that because I felt McGregor could beat him. You know, and that was a genuine 50-50 boxing match. And there was obviously a lot of beef. That ship sailed now. Anyway, but you know, we'll see what happens with a rematch of their fight. I don't rule it out, but I don't think it's something we're looking at too closely at the moment, but who knows?
I know we spoke earlier in the year when McGregor came to one of your cards in Boston. Did you have a long chat or anything?
No, it was, to be honest, like, that was more you know, a situation where I was almost not in awe of him, but I've never met him before, so I was quite like, yeah, well, you know, he is, because he's like, you know, walking down the corridor of the fights, and he's got a massive aura, 100%. So I was a bit in awe, you know. I just sort of said, "Hi, can I have a photo with you, mate?" He's like, "Hey, Eddie, how you doing?" I thought, "Fuck, well, you know me."
Yeah.
And you know, it was great to have him there. But again, I don't know what's happening with his career or his fight. I'm not really up to speed on the MMA and UFC side, but I do know that he will always be probably the biggest draw in UFC.
Do you think if he ever stepped foot back inside the boxing ring that you'd be the man that he'd call?
I'd like to think so,
Yeah.
but he's got a big enough brand. I mean, it's almost like does he
do it
really need
himself.
me? Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah. No, that's where I was getting to. Yeah, I was getting to. Yeah, he probably could. Look, I think a lot of the time it's a bit like Gennady Golovkin. You know, with us representing, he can do it himself, but we can do it better with him. You know, not for him, with him. So it's very much, you know, once they get to those kind of levels, a partnership where you say to someone like Conor, look, we know you're the boss, you're the brand, but behind the scenes, you know, in terms of revenue, in terms of PR, in terms of profile, in terms of logistics and general management of a show to make your life easier, we're as slick as they come. So, and that's where the relationships come in with Gennady as well. And when you get those kind of things, it's a big honour because those guys can go with anybody, and they've identified us and said, no, we want to work Matchroom, and that's big for us.